Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you are new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. And I'd really appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up on the video as well. If you'd like to participate in on the discussion, you can join me live like these wonderful people, Rick and Carrie and Amy and Christy and Cindy and Pretty Girl's mom and Anthony all checking in. I hope everybody had a great day. But if you'd like to join me on my live streams, I go live most weekdays around 4 p.m. Central Time. If you want to reach out to me outside of my live streams, a great place to get in touch with me is through the Discord channel that I created. There's a link for that down in the description below. Like I said, it's a great place to reach out to me, share your stories, what's going on with you, maybe recipes you're doing, just there's all kinds of different things you can do on there. Also, down in the description below, there is a link to a Pinterest board. That Pinterest board has a lot of our family's favorite whole food, plant-based meals that we've enjoyed that have helped us with our diet here. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I'd love to hear those too. Today is weigh-in Wednesday, so I'm going to hop on the scale here in a minute. But yeah, how are you guys doing on your diets? Are you succeeding? Are you failing? What are you doing that's helping you succeed? What are you doing that's causing you to fail? And really what I'd like to really push is, sorry, I guess that, I don't know why that was held for review. What choices are you making that will cause you, that will help you to stay on your diet? What are you doing to help keep you on your diet and make it, better than the alternative? So we are going to go ahead and switch over to the weigh-in. I hit everything with my knee and my foot, so it's going to be way off to begin with, I think. But I can adjust it once it's up. So let's go to weigh-in. Yeah, it's way off. Okay, so just a quick recap. I started this challenge on November 1st of 2020 with a starting weight of 519.8 pounds. Over the course of the past almost 2 years, this is like the last weekend before my 2-year weigh-in, because a week from today is the 31st so Monday will be, no, Tuesday? I'm off. But yeah, the next weigh-in is going to be my 2-year weigh-in. So I started at 519.8. Last week, I had a little bit of a disappointing weigh-in. I gained a couple tenths of a pound, but the scale I have isn't the greatest. So, it was kind of up and down around the 296.6. So I am excited to get on the scale today. I know there's all kinds of comments I'm missing. I'll try to go through them after I get done with the weigh-in here. But last week's weigh-in was 296.6. I'm hoping to see a weight loss today, and we'll see how it goes. Dang, 289.6. I just lost 7 pounds this past week. Holy cow. 289.6. Let me update that. That's awesome. I'm really happy, especially after last week being kind of a stalemate. I talked a little bit about it last week that I had a lot going on. There was quite a bit of stress in my life, which I think caused me to kind of retain some of the food in my body, which in turn caused me to not have a great weigh-in last week. So 7 pounds this week is amazing. So really that is like losing 6.5 pounds in the last 2 weeks, which is great. This is, exactly what I need to be doing to reach my goal coming up. So a bunch of people saying I win. What did Anthony guess? Did Anthony guess what my weight was going to be? So Tuesday is the 1st. So we might weigh in on Tuesday next week. But Anthony said that he won. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'll go through the other ones. Way to go, Amy. Thank you. Nicole says, congratulations. Janet says, oh my God, Sony, amazing. Rick says, fantastic. Nicole says, it's wild. It was so much. Yes, I'm so happy with that. Christy says, woohoo. Thanks. Janet says, way to go. Pretty Girl's Mom. Yes, that was pretty much 2 weeks worth of weight loss wrapped into one there. Ron says, excellent. Tennis and Yoga Girl, congratulations. You earned that number on the scale, 289.6. You guys don't know how close this is to being such I'm like 4 pounds, really, like the lowest weight I can ever remember seeing on a scale since I turned 18 was 285 pounds. So I'm very close to the lowest weight I've ever been as an adult. And I feel so great about the position I'm in this time when I'm 285 pounds. Last time when I was 285 pounds, I was really starving myself, eating just this ridiculously unhealthy, non-nutritious diet. And as soon as I started to, eat a little bit of food, I just packed the weight back on. So I'm really happy. Anthony says that, yeah, my weight was your guess. Big thumbs up. Congrats. Yes. Thank you guys so much. I'm really happy to see a 7-pound weight loss this week. And something that I kind of want to go through too in this video is I'm going to go over the food I ate, because I did not shy away from eating. Last night, I guess today I did a little bit because I was hoping to see a good number. I was not expecting to see below 290 today. That's really amazing. But I ate a lot of food. Last night we had the polenta with mushrooms and white beans, and Carrie made a double batch of it because we've constantly been regretting not making double batches of it for the past few months that we've been making it. So last night she finally did make a double batch of it, and it was great. So Janet says you get it. You too, you've never weighed in your adult life, weighed 117 pounds, let alone maintain it. Yeah, it's just crazy. Yes, the polenta recipe is on our Pinterest board. It's polenta and white beans and mushrooms or something like that. Mushrooms and white beans. It is a really great recipe. I'm going to switch over to the main picture here. I'm going to go back and try to catch some of the comments from before I weighed in, because I was busy with my intro there. Yeah, lots of guesses. Anthony, we had a guess 289. See, optimism. Nicole said, hello, you've had potatoes and broccoli twice today and it's only 313. I hope it wasn't too bad. You said, is it bad to add seasoning to make potatoes tasty? Right now, don't worry about it, I guess. Like, it's so tough for me to have conversations on here because I don't know all of the little intricacies about your diet. Like, I don't know if you've been eating a plant-based diet or a vegan diet or just been eating keto or just trying to do calories in, calories out. And I don't know what diet you're coming from just on these comments, but if you have to add a little seasoning, especially right away, I wouldn't keep that from, don't make the lack of seasoning cause you to fail. If that's what's going to get you to eat those potatoes, add some seasoning. but just be mindful of what you're adding and try to add, natural seasonings as best you can. Try to get rid of as much processing as you can as well. Carrie said that she texted me today actually and said that she had made herself more potatoes and broccoli today than she could eat, and that was the first time she had done that. Ben says, you're new here. You saw me on Chef AJ. You've enjoyed your videos this week. Thanks. Let's see. It's 11 p.m. in South Africa. That's awesome. I really appreciate you checking out my streams. I know Janet's in Australia, and we got people that watch my videos overnight from overseas and comment. So it's great how YouTube is able to kind of send this out globally, and I can reach people in South Africa. Let's see. Yes, Carrie has leftovers. Let me see. She did add some balsamic vinegar since she was home today, and a little bit of no salt seasoning to give it some flavor. Check it out. You think that Nicole says the seasoning that you use, it's 0 calorie and it makes you want to keep eating. And that is one of the effects of sodium or salt that is the reason, is one of the reasons why, from what I understand, the people at the True North Clinic don't like to recommend eating added salt, is because salt is, it leads to excessive eating. And the example they give, would be, is if I gave you a bowl of popcorn, let's say just this massive bowl of popcorn, and it doesn't have salt in it, and I say, go ahead, eat as much as you can. You'll eat that popcorn and you maybe eat half the bowl of popcorn. And then you say, okay, I'm full, that's great. Well, if you take that same person, take the same bowl of popcorn, but you salt the popcorn, the person is generally going to eat more popcorn before they say that they've been satisfied. So with popcorn, it's a very low calorie item. It's not a big thing. But if you're talking potato chips, it's different. And so if you can reduce the sodium, it's really the best thing you can do. There's lots of natural flavors that you can use for seasoning, and you don't have to add sodium. And then let's see, I'm probably getting caught up on the questions here, or the comments. So, and let me go over, so Nicole says you ate out a lot of processed foods and ate out a lot. Yes, I know what that's like. So it takes time to get used to it, and I guess the analogy I've used with the going inside and then coming inside, and your body getting used to the differences in the sunlight and things like that. Maybe you could think of those seasonings as like sunglasses you're putting on as you walk into the bright light. If it's kind of the opposite of what I said yesterday, as far as you're in the bright light and this diet's the dark light. But let's say eating a standard American diet, you're standing inside of a dark room. And when you switch over to a plant-based diet, you go out into the sunlight, and it takes time for your eyes to adjust to that sunlight. And one of the things that we have to help us with that is sunglasses. So you put sunglasses on for a minute, it helps block out that light. Seasoning can maybe be that block for a minute, like until you get used to the light, you need a little bit of seasoning to get you there. But if you can get to a point where you don't have a lot of extra salt-based seasonings, then you will be happier. I believe I am happy without having a lot of salt added to my diet. And the other thing that many people will agree with, I'm sure, is that when you eat a diet that is free of salt, the second I eat something that has salt in it, my body starts to retain weight in water. So I can see the effect of salt very quickly on my system when I have it now versus when before. Let's see. Carrie said, you're eating a 50-50 plate. Dr. McDougall would be proud. And yeah, it's Amy's asking about the polenta meal. She said she's got 3 little ones, 6 and under, so you need quick meals to throw together. You're going to try it this week. Yeah, we don't do great with pushing our kids to eat some of these meals. And then with this one in particular, what I guess I laugh about thinking about it is that up until now, Carrie had only been making a single batch of it. So when she was making it, I didn't want the kids to eat it because then that means it took food away from me. So, but now that, with making a double batch, having them eat it would be great. And some of our kids would probably enjoy it more than others. So let me go ahead and I'm going to go over food a little bit. And I think, so I want to talk about the food I've had since yesterday, but I also kind of want to talk about the food that I've eaten all week, because to lose 7 pounds, in my head, I would have had to have been starving the whole time. And that is not the case at all. I didn't starve myself at all this week. And so I definitely want to make sure that people understand that I did have a great weight loss, but it was while I was eating plenty of food. So let's pull this up. This is the polenta with white beans and mushroom that we had yesterday. I don't know if the recipe calls for spinach. There is spinach in here. So if somebody's making it, a lot of times we just throw spinach in the food just to add the nutrients, I guess. But this is it when it's all plated real pretty. And then I kind of, oh, you know what? I didn't show, this is actually this here is my second plate of it to show that I had 2 plates of the recipe last night. Okay. Carrie says that this recipe does call for spinach. And then my system is going really slow here, so I'm kind of waiting for it to catch up to what I did. It's not happy with me that I reconnected the phone. Sometimes it works well and sometimes it doesn't. And this seems like it's one of those times where it's not going to switch for me just when I wanted to go through all the food I ate for the past week, which is a pain. So let me see if I switch through here and then pay attention. Hopefully it will update on there. But yeah, we had the polenta last night, had a couple plates of that. And then this morning I had a bowl of oatmeal, which if the photo would pull up, it looks kind of funny. It looks like it's almost like an empty bowl of oatmeal, but it was not. It was, there was a lot of oatmeal. Sonia K asks, is your wife on a weight loss journey as well, or is she being an amazing wife and supporting you with the whole food plant-based lifestyle? My wife is amazing. Yes, that is definitely the case. She is also losing weight as well. I feel like she's lost 60 plus pounds, but I can't exactly remember how much weight she's lost, but she has lost a good amount of weight since we started this diet as well. I would say that she's in a much more difficult position than I am as far as resisting the temptations, because she prepares a lot of processed foods that our kids end up eating. And I kind of experienced that a little bit last week. There was multiple times last week where I was like, man, I got to throw this away because the kids didn't want to eat it. One of them got picky or whatever. And so there's food that you're throwing away that feels wasteful. And then there's like things that seem like maybe they wouldn't cause an impact, but they might, just like having, some of my kids' food get on my finger and licking it off my finger. I didn't lick it off my finger, but I did have a moment where I had something on my hand and I was like, oh, I'm going to have to go wash this off because I don't want to have any sugar. So she is in a little bit more difficult position than I am with the temptations, but she's done great with losing weight, and she doesn't like to get on the scale as much either. So it's I don't pressure her too much to get on the scale, but I think she would see some. I think she'd be happy with what the scale said right now, because I can tell that physically she's lost weight in the past couple months here. This past kind of since I did a reset here 50 days ago, our whole family's kind of, or both of us have kind of reset. So she's been losing weight. I don't think I have any. Let me see if I have one. I don't have a picture of both of us together. That is recent. I've had a couple of the thumbnails that I've posted were of kind of comparison photos of us from when we were our biggest. There's a specific photo of the two of us from a family party that we both are kind of disappointed it exists, because we got ourselves to that point. But I'm going to just check real quick to see if I have that photo in a position where I can pull up the difference. Don't have, here we go. This would be kind of, this is a few months old too, but this is a picture of me and Carrie together. I think I'm going to give up on the food pictures because it's still telling me my thing is going bad. So we'll switch over to this here. So that is a picture from September 2020 to September 2021. So I'm probably 30 pounds heavier in that picture than I am now. And Carrie's probably also a little bit lighter as well than she was in that photo. But that is a comparison photo. Like I said, that was Carrie says the worst photo of us ever. And she said she has lost around 60 pounds. She weighed herself this morning. So yes, she is made a huge difference in herself as well. And it's been really fun, or it's been a great experience for us doing it together this time. I think that there's, I've talked about this in the past, that me and Carrie have never been on the same page as far as losing weight, or at least on the same timeline. Many times one of us would get motivated, lose some weight. The other one would lag behind, see the success of the other and say, hey, I want some of that success. And then start dieting. And then the first one would have fallen off the wagon or not done, or start struggling. And it kind of is something where we were never on the same page at the same time. There's been a couple times like we went to a personal trainer and did workouts and kind of worked out at the same time together, but not really anything since then. And it was definitely, I would say, for the past 8 years, I probably sabotaged Carrie's diets far more than she sabotaged mine. Because she kind of continued working on it. Whereas from kind of 2013 or 2014 on, I kind of just quit caring about weight loss. I think I knew in my head that I was going to have to do it by changing my diet, but I couldn't convince myself to ever change my diet. So, Cindy was asking if polenta is corn. I don't know. Carrie, that would be a question for her. I think it is, because there's grits and then there's polenta, and it's made from ground flint corn is what it says polenta is made from. Ground flint corn. And then, yeah, and that's, and then there's what really, the star of the show, the two of them with with the polenta and white bean. It's the nutritional yeast that's in the polenta, and then it's the balsamic vinegar that is in the white beans and mushrooms. And those two add incredible flavor to the dish that I really enjoy. And then the textures of the mushrooms and the beans and all that is great as well. Carrie is thanking everybody for all the great compliments. It's been a struggle with the kids and meal prep, but I am motivating you without ever pressuring her and giving her a hard time, which she does appreciate. Yeah, I don't try to give her too hard a time, but it's such a different diet, like it's so different than any other diet that I've done before. Like if we eat something that is off diet, I don't feel like a failure. Like, I just feel like, I don't know. It's different. And I think it's a lot of it is because we are eating a large volume of other foods. And so when we have something that's off diet, it's not always out. I guess that's maybe what it is. Maybe it's that I'm not eating things off diet out of desperation. When I eat things off diet now, it's 100% my choice. There's not my body sitting there going, oh, you have to eat that. You got it. Oh my God, get something. You're so hungry. Like my stomach isn't grumbling for food, but my mind is still not all the way there. I mean, I feel like I'm so close, but I also realize that I'm less than 2 years in, and I started this with the mindset of doing it for 3 years or focusing on my weight loss for 3 years. And that's because I think it takes at least that long for these habits to truly set in. Or I thought it was going to take that long for any diet I chose to truly set in. But now that I'm eating this way and I've done it for 2 years, I see where I have struggles or where I have issues or where I have success, and I can build or learn from those experiences. And so Carrie said that last night we had half of it. So she made since she made 2 batches, half of what we had was polenta, and then the other was corn grits. But either of them work really well. Yeah. And, you mix it all together and it's really a great dish. I can't recommend it enough, honestly. And it is a dish that we have screwed up. We have had occasions where it isn't the tastiest dish that I've ever had, but I generally like it. Like there was one time Carrie felt like she burnt the mushrooms or burnt the vegetables. I didn't mind it at all. I thought it still tasted wonderful. And so that was, it's really a great meal. I really enjoy it. So, Cindy is asking, what was my motivation to start a whole food plant-based lifestyle? How did I choose a whole food plant-based lifestyle instead of another way of eating? The whole food plant-based was from research I did while I was water fasting. So when I started the channel, I was very heavy, and in my mind, I knew that the fastest way for me to get some weight off was going to be by doing a water fast. I had done a water fast previously for 30 days, so I set a goal this time to do a water fast for 30 days. But when I set this goal, I set the 2 main goals for the channel, which is to lose 300 pounds and to stick with this for 3 years. Those two aspects were very important to this. But I knew that while I was water fasting, because of my previous experience with water fasting, I needed to figure out how to eat when I got done, or I had to pick a diet or figure out a program that I was going to do. And so my intention was that the entire time that I water fasted, that I would be doing research into what kind of diet that I was going to eat. In my head, I think the only real thing that I was like, I need to get rid of this was processed foods. Like I was like, I just need to get away from this modern, all these processed foods that we have. And kind of thought, you know, paleo would be where I would go. And so I was doing research and I came across a video or some videos from the True North Clinic in California. There's a YouTube channel called Well Your World that there's a guy named Dylan that runs that channel. And he had done an extended water fast at the True North Clinic and shared his experience on his YouTube channel. And the things he was saying really started to resonate with what I was feeling at the time or what I had experienced with fasting. And so that caused me to look into the True North Clinic. And then when you're doing a very long water fast, there is a danger that you can hurt yourself. And one of the dangers people talk about a lot is the danger of eating the wrong food when you're refeeding. And so I found the True North Clinic and I saw through my research that they had done medically supervised water fasts for like over 20,000 patients. And so, and they were doing water fasts between, you know, a couple days or a week, all the way up to like 40-day water fasts. And so I was like, well, these people seem to know a little bit about water fasting. Let me see what they have their patients eat after they finish the fast. And that's when I found out about eating a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet. I had heard of like vegan diets or people eating plant-based or maybe even plant-based with no oil, but I had not had any idea about the salt and the sugar. And so I thought, you know, here's this clinic that they are doing water fasting. Like that's what their expertise is water fasting. If the diet that they're recommending, it seems so extreme from the outside to eat a plant-based diet with no salt, oil, sugar. And in my head, I just kind of thought, why would they paint an additional target on their back? Why would they not go the easy route with the refeeding? Like every other kind of fasting resource you look online talks about eating keto and all this stuff. Why would they go against the grain? And so it caused me to read the book, The Pleasure Trap, which is written by the doctors that run the True North Clinic. And kind of that's what got me started doing this. So it's a very long answer to the question, but I think it's important because it's such a wild road for me. Like I always like I'm just so happy for where I'm at. Like, and had I not stumbled into the things I did or done all of the things I did up to this point, I wouldn't be 230.2 pounds lighter than I was 2 years ago. So, yeah. See, Ben says, potatoes release serotonin in your brains that make you feel good emotionally. Plus, it fills you up because of the volume. Plus, they're tasty. That's why it's such a good idea to eat them. Yes, I love potatoes. I was talking to Carrie about it last night, that I was feeling snacky late at night. And I was thinking, you know, we should just have more potatoes laying around ready to be eaten. I really do love eating kind of fresh potatoes right out of the Instapot where they're warm. But having a cold potato or a microwaved potato is far better than dealing with the stress of trying to avoid food or feeling like you're hungry and not satisfying that hunger. So we may try to keep a few more potatoes, in the fridge, just ready to be reheated or thrown in the purse for purse potatoes. So that's great. Yeah, I've been so happy with the satisfaction I've gotten from eating more potatoes here in the last couple months. We were already eating a lot of potatoes with our meals, but now that I added that in kind of as my lunch meal, I feel like I'm more satisfied throughout the day, and I believe it's probably helps me to eat less in the evening, which from what I've read or seen seems to be the most beneficial, is to try to stop eating a couple hours before you go to bed. Let's see. Cindy says that was her dinner tonight, 2 medium-sized baked potatoes. Absolutely. It's a great meal. It's great food anytime. And the I wanted to go over all the food today and show you kind of pictures of all the food from the past week, and I'll have to figure out how to do it without relying on my wireless internet, because it seems to screw things up. But I really wanted to show how much food I've eaten this past week. It has not been it's not been a famine around me for the past 7 days. So Cindy says the potatoes are great with the Dijon mustard. Yeah, we've had the dressing that we used to eat with our salads was a mustard-based dressing that I would mix that with potatoes all the time. I would mix it with rice as well. And yeah, just a great taste. And yeah, and potatoes alone, they taste good too. Like they're really kind of, it seems like there's not like much of a flavor to them, but there really is. And that's something you definitely learn with this diet, is that there's a lot more flavor in these foods than you realize when you start. But yeah, I could do that. It's not the best. I can try to go over and see. Let me see if I even took that many photos. What was the date last Wednesday? Of course, I don't have. Last Wednesday would have been the 19th. Yeah, so let me just see. So yeah, since the stream, what I did have a lot of since the 19th was potatoes and root vegetables. Okay, we'll give it a shot here, see if we can go through some of the food that we've had here for the past week. So let me pull it up and see if it'll keep up with me. Yeah, that's what somebody was suggesting here. Oh, I got to open up this tab again. So this was my dinner after the weigh-in last week. This was actually a dinner and I believe a lunch the next day. Usually when I make this meal, if Carrie's not home, like last week, I split it into 2 different meals. But this was the start of the meal. It looks like I ate some bananas while I was making the meal. And then this is mushrooms and onions that I'm just sauteing in water and then their own juices. I think that this was before I cooked the root vegetables. Oh, it's slowing down here. So that's before I cooked the root vegetables. This is after I cooked the root vegetables. I took those sauteed mushroom and onions, and after I felt like the mushrooms and onions had cooked and kind of caramelized enough, I took a can of diced tomatoes and I mixed a can of diced tomatoes in with them. Let's see. So then this is kind of what that meal looks like. There is a little bit of balsamic vinegar. I'm looking down at my phone and I should be looking up here when I'm talking. So, I did put a little bit of balsamic vinegar in the mushroom and onion mix, but that was my dinner on Wednesday night of last week. Like I said, I would have eaten it again for, lunch on the 20th. Yeah, this was the next day. It's not updated here yet, but that's the next day that I had it. And then on Friday, I made, surprise, surprise, if it pops up here, the same meal. Only this time I went to the grocery store and picked up a red pepper. So there's red pepper in the recipe with the onions and mushrooms, as well as the starchy vegetables. So this was Friday, Saturday, and there is some food that I didn't take photos of throughout the week, but this is a good kind of breakdown of the food that I did take photos of. And so then that's just let's see. Yeah, like I said, this is Instapot potatoes. Some I don't think I had a sweet potato in it this time. So I added red pepper, subtracted the sweet potato. This is just an example of the spinach. I had all the sauteed, the mushrooms and onions cooking, and I just took half a bag of spinach, threw it on top, mixed it up, and mixed it all together, waited for the spinach to wilt down, and then that's what it looks like there from that meal. A couple questions here. Ben's asking, how many calories do you typically aim to consume in a day? I have no idea. I don't count calories at all. I, especially the last couple months here, have been really trying to focus on the calorie density of my food and making sure that the foods that I'm eating are more calorie dense less calorie dense than what I used to eat. And if I start seeing that the scale isn't going in the direction that I want it to go, then I start looking at what foods I'm eating that are too high of calorie. One of the things that I really want to do a long form video on is the misinterpretation of calories in, calories out that we seem to have. People seem to assume that if the calorie goes in your mouth, that your body will absorb that calorie and it becomes a calorie on your body. And I think that when you're talking about processed foods, that is very likely, or that's very much the case, that when you're eating processed foods, when that food gets into your digestive system, all of the difficult parts to absorb, like the fiber, have been removed. So those foods are very highly absorbed. So if you have, 2,000 calories, or if you have, 500 calories of an oil, your body's going to absorb all 500 calories. If I eat 500 calories of corn, my body is not going to absorb all 500 calories. So I try to eat foods that tend to be more difficult for my body to absorb the nutrients from. So that's why I eat oat groats and steel cut oats for breakfast. That's why I eat brown rice instead of other types of rice, because those foods naturally make it more difficult for my body to take the calories from. So I can consume them and eat a larger volume because my body won't absorb all those calories. So when people think of calories in, calories out, they like to think, okay, I'm going to eat a 2,400 calorie diet. Well, that is great, but your body might only be absorbing 2,000 of those 2,400 calories. And that deficit might be a problem for you, especially if you're under eating or you're eating processed foods, which means you're eating a lower volume of food. And so, like I was saying, I like to kind of hijack the calories in, calorie out equation and be like, I eat calories that are more difficult for my body to access the nutrients from. So I naturally reduce the calorie consumption, or the calories absorbed, or the calories that my body has, because the food's more difficult to unlock the calories from. But then also because the food is more difficult for my body to unlock the nutrients from, my body spends more energy trying to get those nutrients. So it may only take your body 5 calories to absorb and process that 200 calories of oil, but it may take my body 10 calories to process and absorb the 500 calories worth of corn that it's not actually going to get 500 calories from. So it uses both sides of the calories in, calories out equation by removing the processed foods, focusing on foods that have, skin and cell walls. And like when you eat beans, you don't get all the beans because the skin on that bean sometimes is between your stomach lining and the nutrient. And so I don't worry too much about calorie counting. And I wouldn't even know, like, I guess I would really have to sit down and figure it out. But I'm sure that I eat close. I bet I eat over 2,000 calories a day, because even if I'm eating at 500 calories per pound, I'm definitely eating 4 or 5 pounds of food a day. So I'm getting 2,500 calories. Let's see how far this system is behind on these videos now. Maybe if I reset it, it'll pop up and go quicker. Let me see how that reacts to me doing that. Do I eat organic? No. I mean, there's lots of foods that we eat that are organic. I don't know. I'm not that organic. I don't know. I don't even really know much about it, I guess. Would be what I would say. But I'm sure that it's not, I don't intentionally eat an organic diet, I guess. Let's see, this caught up here. So this was Saturday's food. This was just the kind of the second half of the meal I made Friday. And then on Sunday, thankfully, Carrie was back. And so we were back to our oatmeal on Sunday. That's the only photo I took of food on Sunday. I know I ate something. It was that zuppa Toscana maybe we had on Sunday. Or Monday night, I'm not sure. But this is the oatmeal with a bunch of the Kirkland's no salt seasoning on there and a little bit of lemon juice as well. This was the oatmeal from Monday here. This was kind of what I was talking about, that we ran out of mushrooms because I cooked so many mushrooms in all the dishes that I ate Thursday through Saturday. So Carrie substituted carrots for the mushrooms. And I was very disappointed in that idea until I ate some of it. And then I was very happy with that decision. So that was Monday morning's food there. Monday for lunch, there is the first bowl of broccoli and potatoes I've showed you here, but that was Monday's lunch. And then Monday's dinner was the quinoa quinoa chili or something like that. And there's, it's really hard to see, but there's lots of great flavors in there too. There's corn and beans and tomatoes and all kinds of wonderful food in that dish that we had Monday. Yesterday, this is a very close-up shot of yesterday's breakfast. This is our oatmeal. This was banana and apples. And then lunch yesterday was leftovers from Monday night. So when this screen catches up to me, it will say it is the quinoa there. And then for dinner last night, we had the photos that I already kind of showed you, the white bean and polenta. And then I think I showed you the photos from the breakfast as well. So I guess I just really wanted to show that in the video today, just to kind of show that I lost 7 pounds. I ate multiple Instapots full of potatoes and mushrooms and onions. I had oatmeal many days. You know, I didn't have them every day because I didn't make my own oatmeal. But I had oatmeal many days throughout the week, and you can lose weight and still eat a large volume of food. And that, if I can get that across to people, that I think will change a lot of people's lives. Because you know, I always hear, you know, you always hear the gimmick, you know, eat whatever you want and lose weight. You know, and it's a little bit different. This diet is definitely eat as much as you want and lose weight, but you can't eat anything and lose weight. Where I see this diet really helping people is people that were like me, that were just super obese. And if they could, you know, if everybody could understand calorie density and how everybody is different, you know, these diet companies really want us to feed into this one diet fits all mentality. And it's BS. One diet, you know, the diets that have these meal programs where everybody's eating the same foods and the same amounts of foods, it makes everybody, you know, it's like they took one guinea pig and they said, this is what worked for this guinea pig, so we're going to say it works for everybody. And that's not how these diets work. But what I think that people, because, you know, it's very easy for people to distinguish between each other externally. You can tell if somebody's, you know, a certain age or a certain ethnicity, and it's very easy to see that we are all outwardly different, vastly different. And what we don't realize is that internally, we also have a lot of differences too. You know, one person's heart might pump slightly faster than another person's heart, and that over time causes them to have a slightly higher metabolic rate. Or one person's kidneys might function better than the next person's kidneys, so they can have certain foods, whereas the next person, when they have foods, they get irritated. And so we all have these different variations. But one of the things that they don't really talk about is that we all have different levels of satiation. We all have to eat different amounts of food to be satisfied. And I'd be willing to bet that anybody who is 40% overweight, or I was probably 60% over, you know, easily. I don't even know. I mean, I'm going to lose over half my body weight before the end. How close am I? Oh yeah, 150 was, yeah. Anyways, once I started at 520. Once I get to 260, I'll be at half my body weight. That's what it'll be. That's what I was thinking of. But yeah, every person has to eat a different amount of food to be satisfied. And generally, people who are very obese, I would be willing to bet, are the same people who need to eat more food to be satisfied. So if you combine the fact that they just naturally, because of genetics and everything else, have to eat a larger volume of food to be satisfied, you couple that with a society that produces foods that have calorie counts in the thousands and in calories per pound in the thousands, then that combination will create obese people. If you just change the food and you keep the person the same, you can see incredible results. And I am showing that. I'm a living example of it. I didn't know I was going to be a living example of it when I started this, but I am. I'm eating pounds of food every day and I'm losing pounds of weight every week. And if somebody would have told me that that would be the case, I would have told you you're a liar, because it's not possible. But now that I understand that it's about the food that I put in my mouth. It's 100% about the food that I put in my mouth. And that, the McDougall saying, the fat you eat is the fat you wear. And so getting rid of that high fat diet is a huge that people overeating, or I'm sorry, people eating to satiation, but they're high volume eaters that eat the standard American diet that's filled with fat are putting just pounds and pounds of fat into your body, that is unnecessary. But the reason why you're putting all this fat into your body is because we're surrounded by it, because everybody makes everything with a little bit of extra love. They want you to come back. They want you to like it. Try mom's recipe. It has a little extra love in it, which means there's more butter in it. There's more sugar in it. There's more oil in it. There's, that's the extra love, is these addictive things, these things that are causing us to be fat. And the food industries love it, because the food industries love it because we're eating their food to get fat. But what they don't tell you is a lot of them probably own health food companies too. And so they're selling you the health food to get you thinner, but they know that it's unsustainable to stay on this health food. So you'll go back to your old diet and you just get into this big cycle, and you're trapped within this food industry maze that we've had created around us. But when you switch to eating a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet, you can just say, I'm done. I don't have to pay attention to your marketing. Your marketing won't work on me today, because I don't know what that food looks like in that box. People buying brown food because it's in red, white, and blue boxes, it's just, it's crazy, but at the same time, it's just normal, it's just how everybody else lives. That's what we thought. But anyways, I just want people to understand you can eat lots of food and you can lose weight. You just have to change the food that you eat. Cindy's asking how my labs are after the weight loss. My labs have been really good. I don't have any way to pull up labs, or I don't even know how to access them. But yeah, all my lab numbers were in a really good spot. My doctor was very excited about where things were. Obviously I was worried about protein. That was good. The first time I had my labs done, not long after the fast, my thyroid was in the normal range. It was a little high this last time, right? So that means it's slower thyroid. Yeah, hypothyroid, not hyper, but it wasn't that high, and it wasn't anything that they were even recommending anything to do. But yeah, all my numbers on my lab seem to be pretty good. I do also want to preface that by saying that when I lost a lot of weight in 2013, I was doing it under medical supervision, where I was taking a prescription or a suppressant. I was taking a oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the word. I was taking phentermine. Was it? It's a it's really killing me. I can't think of the word. Um, it's an anti-eating drug. I'm trying to think of what the word is I'm looking at. It's a suppressant, appetite suppressant. That's what I'm looking for. Appetite suppressant. Um, and when I was seeing that doctor, I was getting kind of regular lab work done. And I have, in all the times that I've ever gotten lab work done, I've never really had a bad lab test. I think the thing that he pushed at the time was my vitamin D was low, but that's going to be the case with almost anybody that is overweight. Generally they don't get a lot of vitamin D. Yeah. Amy, yeah, appetite suppressant. Yeah, it was driving me nuts. I couldn't think of it forever. Um, the so I don't really worry about my labs. And the thing I do wish is that I would have made an appointment in October of 2020 and gotten my lab work done before doing this. But just to see where I was. But at a certain point, you kind of get scared. I was never feeling dizzy or lightheaded, but I definitely had some other symptoms or signs that I was headed down that type 2 diabetes road. Just overall health has improved so much. So, but yeah, I got labs done a few months ago and they were good. So they wasn't bad at all. Holy cow, another hour today. I absolutely appreciate all you guys checking out my videos and following along with this. I need to get out of here. I got to go shopping on my way home for some work stuff. Thank you, Dare. Yeah, it's been a fun trip so far, and it's crazy. I'm 6 days away from the first. Next Tuesday will be November 1st, 2022. That'll be 2 years into this. Man, I'd love to be down another 4.6, but I'm just not gonna. I mean, that wouldn't. That's not gonna happen. So, but I am gonna look forward. I'm gonna try to get a couple pounds off here between next Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm not sure what I'll do for weigh-in. I may do it on the 1st just because. I like the anniversaries. But yes, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys for all of the support. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, click the subscribe button. If you haven't, click the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. And then also make sure you hit the thumbs up on this video. Let people know that they can see a lot of weight loss in this video. So thanks everybody for that. And if you haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. What are you waiting for? What's so important that you're going to put off changing your life for the better? What's so important this weekend that adding a decade to the end of your life is less important than that? Because that's, for me, is absolutely what happened. I mean, when I was 38 years old, I started this channel. There's a chance that I don't make it to 40 if I don't make changes. So and I know that every year that I live after 65 is probably a year that I gained because of changing my way of eating and my lifestyle. So nothing is more important than adding years to your life is what I'm trying to say. We get started right now. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Yeah, I'll definitely be live. Hey, bye Anthony and Cindy and Barb and Carrie and Dare and everybody. Bev, I kept calling you Bev, yes. Thanks everybody for all of the support today. And you guys have a great evening.